My name is Zach Wyatt. I'm from McKinsey 1327 in Lubbock, Texas, and my username is Brother Fluff.
The one and the only Brother
Yeah.
Fluff.
Brother Fluff, a proud Texas Freemason. So I was initiated on May 30th, 2019. I was passed to the degree of Fellowcraft on February 17th, 2020, and I was raised as a Master Mason on October 13th, 2020. I was a COVID candidate is what we like to call them around here, COVID candidate. I got stuck right in the middle of the degrees. Could have gotten master a lot quicker or sooner, but pandemics happen and we had to change our route. And that's one thing that I've really noticed through all of this is that everybody's journey is a little bit different. Even to the fact of my journey, the way that I started and first got interested in Freemasonry. I am the first Freemason in my family in 3 generations. So my great-great-grandpa was the last Freemason in my family who was a member of this Scottish Rite. And that's pretty cool. Even though I'm not a Scottish Rite member yet, I'm not a 32nd degree. It's really cool to be kind of living in his shadow in some way. Back in those days, in the 1950s, this Scottish Rite and the only Blue Lodge at the time, Yellow House Lodge, 841, it was the largest lodge in Texas. There were over 2,700 active Masons attending one lodge.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So you think about it, and that's a very long line. So I don't get to go through that lodge and see all the pictures and everything of my great grandpa with his picture there saying that it's his past master, because he was at least fighting 800 other guys to even try and get in that line.
Wow.
If you wanted to be a politician in this area, you had to be a Freemason. If you wanted to be, or if you were a pastor of a church, you were a Freemason. I mean, Freemasonry is the cornerstone of this town. And as we grew, we split into 4 different lodges. Right now, there's Yellow House 841, which is the Granddaddy Lodge. McKinsey 1327, I believe that it was chartered in 1954. And then you have South Plains Daylight 1443, which is the lodge we just attended. It came off of the Scottish Rite to be a Scottish Rite feeder lodge. It's since then it's kind of changed to a shrine lodge. We like the shrine here. And then we have Lubbock Lodge, 1492. And that lodge is really cool because it's like teachers. Every lodge has a different culture. So McKinsey 1327, the lodge that I'm in, it's the old cop lodge. So there's lawyers, cops, a couple of doctors, things that would support that culture of policing the city and all that. Mm-hmm. Yellow House is the Grandpa Lodge. They dress up to go to lodge. They, if you're not wearing the suit and tie, they'll still welcome you, but you're gonna feel a little bit weird. South Plains Daylight 1443. That is the country lodge. That's where we go if you have farmers and things like that. They like waking up at the crack of dawn. That's why it's called daylight. And so those guys are there and they meet early morning, have breakfast, and then they leave lodge and they still have a whole day to work. And then Lubbock Lodge is the old teacher's lodge. And, so yeah, honestly, Lubbock Lodge is amazing because if you want to learn your work as a Mason, you go to that lodge because they have like so many certificate holders and they love the craft. It is their passion, it is their drive. And somehow, in the past couple of years, we've figured out how to say, hey, Freemasonry is not just lodge by lodge, it's by community. And what we've done is we've kind of circled each other and grown into this whole community. And we travel together, we break bread together, we let our families hang out with each other. Some of my best friends since 2019, think about that. Some of my best friends are because of this fraternity. And it's because I became a brother first. And through that brotherhood, the relationships formed. We trust each other, and anybody in this lodge I trust with my life. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
The connections within Freemasonry are immense, especially when you look at the people who are really able to make the genuine connections, those lifelong friendships, and things that go like that. So with with these connections and how they're fostered, especially today, like I know you because of TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm here because of TikTok.
TikTok.
And so it's an incredible opportunity to see how the connections have been made today over social media. So as you started in Freemasonry, when was the first place you saw social, like where did you first see Freemasonry and social media
So
mix?
I first saw Freemasonry, it's not social media. I first saw Freemasonry on Ask Jeeves. And that is a dead search engine that most people don't remember, but I promise you it was there in 2002 to 2004 or somewhere around that period before Google took off. Like I said, my great-great-grandfather was a Freemason. My grandpa always told me I couldn't be a Freemason. I didn't have that bloodline. So much misinformation. Didn't have the bloodline to become a Freemason, so I started looking on my own. I wanted to know, what is Freemasonry? And luckily in 2002 to 2004, whenever time period that was, there wasn't as much misinformation on Freemasonry as much as it was, hey, this is a fraternal organization. There is, they do have their secrets. Some believe that it's a cult, and then some believe that it's a very good charitable organization. That was what I saw back then. Fast forward to today, my first true interaction with Freemasonry was an Illuminati scammer.
What?
On Instagram. That was my first interaction. In 2019, in February of 2019, I received a Instagram message from an Illuminati scammer. Join the Illuminati, gain wealth, fortune, family, all the riches of the world. Just call this WhatsApp number and speak to the Grand Master. Well, I knew it was a scam. I worked in IT. Technology is kind of my forte. And so I was like, well, this is a scam, but I do know a Freemason, and I'm going to message this Freemason, and I'm just going to, I'm going to be an asshole to him, whatever. So I sent my buddy who I've known since 1999, I sent him a message, and I said, hey, you guys got to cool it with your recruiting because you can't get me. He's like, why can't I get you? Well, I don't have the bloodline. My great-great-grandpa's the last Freemason in my family. Don't I need an uncle? Don't I need a dad? Don't I need somebody to be a Freemason? He's like, no. In fact, all you need to be a Freemason is to be a good man and believe in a higher power. And I know that you believe in both of those and that you are a good man. You qualify. Really. Like, you ever have one of those questions in your life that it just changes and you realize that this is a pivotal point in your life? If you answer this question wrong, you are done.
This is a test.
This was one of those. And I know I wrote something out on the keyboard, right? I'm sitting there typing and I'm deleting and I'm typing and I'm deleting. And I know he's sitting there looking. He's just seeing the dots just going off, And I was like, okay, so how do you join? Well, do you want to come to Lodge tonight? We're actually having dinner tonight. You can meet the brothers, see if you like it, and I'll show you around the building. Fantastic. Where do I meet? The Scottish Rite. Oh, I didn't know the Scottish Rite were Masons. That is how dumb I was to this fraternity at that point. I was like, yeah, cool. I'll be there. And I showed up, and the rest is history. I met brothers that I've known for a long time. Some friends from high school. The worshipful master at the time was a year younger than me in high school. He graduated in 2005. I graduated in 2004. But he was worshipful master at the time. I knew him. I walked in. I'm like, hey. He's like, hey. So we're reconnecting there. I had friends from cigar shops, friends from different jobs and different things that I've done in life. And seeing all these men come together with the new fresh faces really made me think that, oh man, this fraternity might be for me. So I joined based off of the Illuminati scammer. That was my first intro to Freemasonry.
So as you came into Freemasonry, personally, I can say from your history, you are a TikTok Masonic warrior. And right. I mean that in the sense that you defend misinformation.
Right.
So what motivated you to really take such a forward charge with social media and Freemasonry?
Well, I saw other brothers on social media. And I'm not saying that anybody was doing anything wrong. I'm saying that as the building, we are all different bricks. We're all being placed in different areas. We're being fitted for our perfect use. And as I was watching some of the Masonic stuff coming up on my feeds, because as you get further into Freemasonry, you're going to Google this, Google that. The algorithm naturally kicks in. And if your phone sees that you Googled a new Masonic apron, guess what your algorithm is going to look like for the next 3 days? Masonic gear. Same thing with social media. You're looking for something, stuff starts popping up. So I started seeing these brothers. One of the brothers is Crash Dog, who is from Yellow House 841 here in my hometown. And I saw him, and he was asking a question. And I was like, hey, I know that lodge. I don't know that guy, but I know the answer to that question because I live in the town. And so I responded with the answer. And before that, I was just doing barbecue talk, right? I'm just making barbecue food and all that stuff, having a good old time. I answered the question, and it was like I saw the views skyrocket. I was like, oh, people are really into Freemasonry. I just saw my followers go up a little bit. Then I was like, oh, I could use this for good. So Shaquille O'Neal, who is a brother Freemason, Prince Hall Mason out of Massachusetts, he was coming into town for a concert at a football game here, Texas Tech. I did not make contact, so I'm just going to stop that right there. But I did try and reach out to him. And I'm like, what? How can I reach out to this guy? How can I find him? I'm going to hit him up on every social media platform. So I found out his manager's name. I found out all his verified valid accounts, and I made a video tagging him in everything. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everything. We were going after Shaq hardcore. I wanted to meet him because we were raising money on our own free will and accord, raising money for the Lubbock Boys and Girls Club. So we were trying, because that's a foundation that Shaq supports, is the Boys and Girls Club of America.
Yeah.
We wanted to raise money in his honor and present it to him at the game. And so we were working really, really hard to make contact. We never made contact. But as I started seeing the good in that, I had some people that were like, hey, you're a barbecue guy, not a Mason. And I said, well, that's not true. I'm both. But I do understand that I don't want to offend you by just switching content and switching format here. So I will make a new channel. And I decided on October 26th to make a TikTok channel for Brother Fluff, solely for Masonry. And I remember the night that I did it, I was walking out of that lodge, and there were several brethren there. Sutliff, who is now West Texas Haboob. If he'll just keep a username, Hiram King of Tire, Sutliff Knives. He's been everything on TikTok. Some of you might know him. I went out to him. He was our DDGM, our District Deputy Grand Master. And I said, Right Worshipful Sir, I want to start a TikTok, and I want it to just be Masonic stuff. Do I have your permission? Well, absolutely. What can I do to help you launch your TikTok? I said, just make sure all the brothers know. And what has started is a fire. He asked me, how long till you can go live? Because we all knew what TikTok was. How long can you go till you can go live? I said, give me 6 weeks. 3 days, I had 1,000 followers.
Wow.
3 days. Immediately went live with everybody who helped push me around the area and supported me. We went live at the cigar shop before TikTok would ban people for going smoking a cigar.
For smoking.
Went live at the cigar shop, talked to brothers for hours and hours and hours, had 1,000 people in that live that night, and really talked about a lot of stuff. And so that's what got me with the lives. It's not just responding to comments anymore, but this is actually talking to a real life person. And sometimes they can get on if they have 1,000 followers, be a guest, but having them ask their questions and just seeing them just go up the screen. Oh, well, you're in a cult. No, we're not. We're not a religion. Oh, really? I thought you guys were a religion. No, we're really not a religion. It makes the experience more humanized, and it brings in a little bit more of it's just better communication is all it is. It's one-on-one communication. I am here on this live to talk to you, and if you're cool with me, I'll be cool with you, and that's what got me hooked, is those lives. But I couldn't have done it if it wasn't without everybody supporting this lodge. And I was pointing to you earlier how many brothers in that lodge were on TikTok, and
there's a lot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I guarantee for a fact there are more brethren on TikTok now than there were before you started. So when we talk about the good, the good that social media does within the craft, I think it has a lot of power and it has a lot of tool, but when you give things a lot of power and a lot of potential, there's also a lot of risk. I
Yeah.
mean, have you ever been on the Facebook Freemasonry groups?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they look crazy sometimes.
Oh, yes.
This is the last place you expect to see anything Masonic. So,
Yeah.
as you've seen this, what are some examples you've seen of social media being used incorrectly within the fraternity?
Well, so that's one thing that's a good transition from the live, because we're the live where you do have one-on-one communication in a way, and it's instantaneous communication. On other social media platforms where the live is not as pushed as hard, Facebook, you get in the groups. Well, you know what a group is? It ends up just being a big old circle of, I'm going to shake your hand, agree. I'm going to shake your hand, agree. I'm going to shake your hand, agree. And it just ends up being completely, a slush pit of either misinformation that is pushed and agreed upon so hard that now everybody believes it, or it becomes a complete time suck and wasteful. Just the other day, I was added onto a Facebook Messenger group. Didn't know anybody in the group except a few names. And they're sending memes, and they're sending misinformation and dumb stuff, and they're starting drama with each other. And I was like, no, we're going to get off. I think that the way to use to use social media wrong is allowing misinformation to be spread without anybody coming in and saying, hey guys, you may be wrong. And then also responding to being told that you're wrong with, no, this is what I was told. There's no research behind it. Google is a great tool. You cannot use Google for every answer. It's a fantastic tool. You can get in there and Google everything you want. You Google Freemasonry, the first things that you're going to get is occult, devil worshippers, Satanists, Albert Pike, P. Manley Hall. You're going to get all of those names there, and everybody's going to, in their dog, is going to tell you how bad it is. If you Google Lubbock Freemasonry, first link you're going to get, Yellow House 841. It's the Granddaddy Lodge. They got the website. You click on their website, you can find every other lodge. And you see the charity work that we do. You see the philanthropy that we do. You see brothers supporting each other. You go to the Facebook page. You see their Facebook page, and you can see young men pushing old men in wheelchairs, young men tying old men's aprons. You see brothers feeding brothers. You see families sharing Christmas with each other. What's evil about that? So you break down that algorithm and you see all this good, but if you don't dive in to do a search well enough, you can create an algorithm of your own that makes it completely based off what you want.
Interesting.
You stay in that circle jerk on social media and you're only getting what you want. You have to challenge yourself every day. A whole bunch of rough stones sitting in a pile is a bunch of rough stones. But stones that are smoothed out and fitted together is an actual building.
So when it comes to taking a forward approach to challenging yourself, not asking what do I want, but asking what do I need? Mm-hmm. How do I apply the tool of social media to help me discover this? Because everybody else has got a lot of shit to say sometimes.
Yeah. Well, for me, this is kind of a hard one for me to answer. What I need with social media for myself is just support. I get that dopamine rush just like everybody else. You get 1,000 likes. I remember the first time I got 200 likes. Do you remember that first time?
Yeah.
And then you get 1,000 likes, and guess what? That 200 likes isn't worth it anymore. So you want that support. I just had a video that just went viral the other day, and it's the biggest video I've ever had, and it wasn't Masonic at all. But I was like, hey, I like that, but this isn't my format. This isn't my niche. This isn't what I want to do. And so you kind of got to turn it back around. So everybody wants that support. Mm-hmm. Everybody needs that support. Everybody needs that positive affirmation that, hey, you are doing good things. You're doing great things. But at the end of the day, what I need for myself is to realize that is still, social media is a fake life. Until you come together, it's never going to be real. So I need to go and push myself and challenge myself to do as much traveling as I can, to do as much reaching out as I can, If it is the difference between keeping the usernames and just DMing or getting a phone number. I remember the first time that I've started giving brethren my phone number. I was nervous. I was shaking. I've been told my whole life, do not give anybody over the internet your information. And now I'm handing out my phone number because they're brothers. It is weird. It is weird. You have to do whatever you can do to make the relationships real and bring them into real life where you can touch, feel, smell. Remember your fellow craft. You have those senses. You have to use those senses. On social media, all you're using is your sight and ears. And how tricky can those senses be? They can fool you into believing anything. But until you touch it, until you smell it, I'm not going to taste any brothers today, though.